Good morning from the beer and tobacco capital of North Macedonia, a city of about 75,000 people. It is set in the dry and barren landscape of the Pelagonia plain, and it is almost entirely surrounded by mountains, one of which I'll be hopefully climbing to the top of later on today, although I'll probably put that in a separate video. Right now I am in the center of the city. I'm by all of these incredible ruins and statues, and I'm hoping to do a little bit of exploring and learning about the history and the culture here in the city itself. So without any further ado, let's get going, let's take a walk around. Welcome, by the way, to Prilep. I'm in Cento Square, and straight ahead is King Marko on his horse. He's quite a hero around here. As I come around, you can see the rest of the square, a couple of old type buildings, but then we come around towards the entrance to the bazaar, which you can enter in any one of those streets ahead. And King Marko gets the most prominent spots in the entire city because he's in the main square and he faces the clock tower. Seemingly right in the middle of the Old Bazaar are the ruins of a burned down mosque. This is a mosque that dates back to 1475. It was the oldest mosque in Europe to feature two balconies on the minaret. So it was a very significant place, but it was burned down, you would think hundreds of years ago, but actually in 2001. These days it just sits here in complete ruins. It's open for you to go and just have a look around. I've now made it inside the mosque itself, and yeah, there is nothing left apart from the walls of the ground floor, the minaret, and some of the perimeter building around the outside. It was burned down in 2001, as I said, as part of a mass protest because of the killing of 10 Macedonian soldiers by Albanian rebels. Gotta admit, I don't know much else about it, so I'm gonna have to read up on that one. There is a cat sleeping on part of the steps just behind me, and you can definitely tell that this place is completely abandoned because of the smell and the flies. It is not very pleasant, but it is very interesting to be here standing in the mosque and learning a little bit about it. You may not know, but the whitest marble in the world can be found here in Prilep. It is called Treskavec, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it was used in the base of the Statue of Liberty in New York City, and also in parts of the White House in Washington, DC. And I mention that because I have seen lots of white marble here in the mosque, just lying here, big slabs of it. I'm not sure if it's the same type, but it must be worth some money. I'm guessing it's been lying here since the mosque was destroyed a couple of decades ago. So in the same square as the mosque is standing in, or was standing in, not sure whether to use past or present tense, there is the main square. Now the bazaar feeds into this square from all sides from what I can make out. There's restaurants, bars, lots of nice places here, and right in the centre is the old clock tower. And if I can get a glimpse of it, there we go. There it is right there, 55 metres high. It was built in 1826. Unfortunately, you can't access it anymore. Seems to be some birds flying into the top windows up there, but nothing more. Straight ahead is the North Macedonian flag fluttering in the wind, and just a nice, relaxing space. Okay, I'm going to head, I think, in this direction now towards some of the lanes of the Old Bazaar. Seems to be a real deal North Macedonian local marketplace. Just kind of stumbled upon it. I was walking along the bazaar and I just kind of stumbled in here, so I thought I'd have a look around while I'm inside the marketplace. Lots of different bits and pieces on offer. Now just heading back towards my accommodation. It's about 15-20 minutes walk out of the city centre, but I'm not done yet. I've got one more thing that I want to show you, but for that we need to get the rental car, hence why I'm heading back to the apartment. This morning on my way into the city, I had a nice little surprise because I was standing there taking some photographs of some tobacco plants, and as I said in the intro, tobacco is a massive industry here. It is grown, it is also dried. And so all around on the side of the roads, you see these stalls with these tobacco leaves drying out in the warmth of the sun. But on this occasion, I was walking past a house and I was taking some photographs, and the guy who was sitting on the porch, didn't see him there, he came out and he was like, come and have a closer look. I mean, he didn't say that because he didn't speak English, but I guess that was what he was saying, because he was kind of gesturing for me to come inside of his yard, which he allowed me to do, and then I had a look at the plants up close, and so he led me around the back towards the garden, where he showed me even more stalls that were set up to dry these tobacco leaves. So I guess that's something that he does for a living, but it was very nice of him to show me around nonetheless. The man that's showing me his tobacco garden just pulled off some tobacco and has given it to me. That's very kind. Right, anyway, let's get back to the car and let's get to that last stop. It's going to be a good one. Quite the journey to get here, but I have arrived at my final stop in the video. The road was very twisty, very turny, very steep in places, but paved, so all good for cars. I am now at a place called Treskavec Monastery. The entrance is behind me, so fingers crossed it's open. I'm hoping to go in and take a look around. It's believed that the monastery was built in or around the 13th century, and it was built on the top of a former settlement that used to exist on the top of this hill, and that dated back to about the 7th century. However, there have been signs found on this mountaintop of human existence here going back about 4,000 years, so it is a very historic part of the country. Sadly, about a decade ago in the 2010s, the monastery suffered a fire and it destroyed a lot of the wooden buildings of the monastery complex. Those buildings have since been rebuilt, but they definitely do look a lot newer and very modern. Thankfully, the church itself, which is in the centre of the monastery, was spared from the fire, and that still exists as it did hundreds of years ago. Of the church are Byzantine frescoes that date back to the 15th century. They are a little faded now, and you can see that parts of the church inside here are still being reconstructed and restored perhaps, but it definitely is a magnificent place to come in and just have a look at these frescoes on the walls and on the ceiling. There doesn't appear to be an entrance fee. It is done on a donation basis only, so you can donate as much as you like. And there is just one monk that is based here, so if it looked very quiet, it definitely was. I caught a quick glimpse of him heading into the church at one point, but that was it. I haven't seen anybody else for probably an hour now, so it must be a lonely existence for the monk up here on the top of the mountains, but what a view, he must get outside the window. Better than the regular office. Anyhow, tomorrow the road trip continues here in North Macedonia. Thanks very much for watching the video, and I will catch you back on the road tomorrow.